G'day folks, and welcome to this introduction to the first sort of big or full scenario from Wacht Rhein, part of the GOSS series. This is Ride of the Valkyries, the 6th Panzer Army attacks. It is technically scenario 1. The other scenario is a learning scenario. So this is scenario 1 in the Wacht Rhein exclusive rules booklet. It shows the 6th Panzer Army's assault on the northern flank of that offensive. What are we looking at here? Okay, so let me run through the Germans first. We've got the 322nd Volksgrenadier up here. These are army assets, so 322nd here, 277th in the centre here, and the 12th Volksgrenadier down here with the 3rd Fallschirmjäger right on the southern flank, small formation here. Behind them, we have got the 12th SS Panzer Division ready to go, and the 1st SS Panzer Division here. There's the infantry, the Volksgrenadier at the front here, have the job of breaking through. And I love studying these maps. I love bulge maps. I love maps of the Ardennes where you can really study the road networks. And this is what I'm doing here. I'm taking my time to see and plan and think about what I need to do. These 2 red primary roads are going to be critical. I think the southern road in particular. I'm pointing it out first. So here's the central road. There are some northern routes up there, and here's the southern road through the Lossheim Gap down here. The Americans are pretty strong in this area. We've got the elements of the 99th up here, the 2nd Division here, more 99th spread around here, and elements of the 9th Armoured, more 2nd Division, and some sort of core level assets as well spread around. They're decently strong and well placed. And look, throughout this area here, this is forest terrain, and my experience has been that this is going to be tough for the Germans to break through. So you do get some options during setup. You can break down sort of an anti-tank battalion and some engineers, and I've done that to try to give myself the best chance of a quick and early breakthrough. It's going to be a grind through here and probably a grind through here. Now there are some little trails weaving through here, but I'm not going to be relying primarily on them. I really want to break through those primary roads, open this primary road, push the Americans aside. This area here, I think, is probably most ripe. I will point out the tape here is the boundary, so units cannot cross this white tape, and then the boundary stretches along this yellow line, which is a bit difficult to see, this yellow dotted line along here. So this is the southern boundary, the southern limits of the 6th Panzer Army. This is a big step up from the learning scenarios. This is using the full complement of rules, including all the exclusive rules. So I've been spending some time rereading the entire GOSS system rules, and then the Wacht Rhein exclusive rules, because there's a lot of exclusive rules for the 16th and surprise and artillery and movement and all this kind of stuff. Plus, of course, logistics. There's going to be a lot of logistical wrestlings here. Mistakes will be made. I know that. I acknowledge that I'm going to make rules goofs aplenty, and certainly tactical rules. But looking forward to exploring what this scenario has to offer. I haven't quite formulated clear plans yet. You can see I've placed some engineers here. We do have some engineers around here. They can negate the defensive works that the Americans, you can see the little blue kind of edges the Americans are in along most of that front. I'm going to try to focus on those red roads. That's going to be my priority. And then bringing up the 1st Panzer SS Division and the 12th SS Panzer Division through here if possible. They want to be able to swing around and come in from the north. There are some strong American stacks here. It's really interesting seeing the sort of the assets behind the line. So a lot of American artillery and a heck of a lot of German artillery, including the Nebelwerfers, rocket artillery. What else? Okay, we're also dealing with personality. So here we have Robertson, and over here we have Piper. So there's the leader rules and their effects as well. We have got bridges. So we have here heavy bridging units, and there is a string of those with both divisions. We've got headquarters, which we suddenly have to deal with. We haven't dealt with headquarters and logistics, the detailed supply rules in those previous scenarios. So kind of getting thrown in the deep end. We're looking at the entire 6th Panzer Army area of operations here. So a lot to suddenly, it feels like a big jump from those learning scenarios to this, where it's like, okay, you've learned how to move and how to engage in combat, and now everything is thrown at you. Logistics, trucks, fuel points, ammunition. We did deal with some ammunition depletion, but not ammunition replenishment and ammunition values and trucking ammunition or whatever you have to do, in addition to those scenario-specific rules. This uses the full northeastern map, so if I can briefly pan out, you can see it's pretty much close to the full map there. So there is a lot of space for manoeuvre once the Germans break through. One interesting feature, of course, is this reconnaissance unit down here. It's interesting. They're set up in an ET2, but the Germans aren't allowed to go below this line. So I think that's just sort of showing where they were historically, or it's an error. I'm not entirely sure. I've double-checked that, and yes, that's where they go. I might actually check the errata just to triple-check that, but yeah, that's what they're doing down there. And interesting, you may note this. I'm kind of taken aback by the big gap up here. It looks like there's this big gap through Rutgen up here. I don't know if there are any specific restrictions on this area, but it looks, I mean, there's sort of clear terrain up north of Eupen, which if I pan around, you can see there are some elements of the 5th Armoured Division and some small breakdown units up there, but a lot of nice terrain. And I mean, the Germans almost have sort of a path through Rutgen out into that open terrain. I don't know if that's viable for exploration. We've got the core headquarters up there as well. It'd be interesting to explore. I'll have to look in more detail at the Wacht am Rhein rules, because there are 20 pages, I think, of exclusive rules that I still... 17 pages of game-specific rules that I still need to wrap my head around. So I'll probably still a few days away from playing this. That means a couple of days of having the rule book sort of right next to me over there on the right. I've been going through and highlighting again, but also having the opportunity to look at the map and have an occasional glance over and see how we can get things done. So yes, engineers here, engineers in the front. We've got some more engineers up here, I think, with our sort of AT. It's a fairly short scenario, this one as well. So it's really just covering their initial assault. It starts the pre-dawn surprise game turn and concludes the December 20th PM game turn. Uses historical weather. There are all the rules for logistics are in effect by and large. There is a big scenario set up, so a lot of units to be placed on the board. Thankfully, I had them all, so not missing any units. We receive all reinforcements listed on the master track, so I do have those master game turn tracks are at the top of the map. You may have seen those earlier. And there's all my breakdown units over there to the right. German breakdown units are in a bit of a mess over here. Using plexiglass time to keep the map flat. What else can I really point out? Look, a lot of scattered American units behind the lines. Let me point out behind the lines here. Okay, so you'll note sort of engineers, 9th Canadian Forestry Company. There's a full battalion back here. This is an army asset and anti-tank. And some, another army asset back there. And they'll be having reinforcements rushing on, and I'll be testing out the limitations of those truck points as they seek to move forward. But, I mean, there's a scattering. Doesn't look like much right now. it's going to be interesting. Interesting to see how this all works as the Germans seek to break through here and sort of here. How are the Americans going to respond, and how will GOSS capture that opening assault of Wacht am Rhein, the Battle of the Bulge? Well, stay tuned, folks. That will be coming probably in a couple of days. As I said, double, triple, quadruple checking the rules and highlighting and making notes, and then we'll be ready to go. Thanks all. Stay tuned and take care.